Okay, so I'm going to review the World Cup that I've seen. It's been a brilliant tournament, but there are some negative talking points. Let's go with the positives first. Tonga, Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Italy, Ireland. Brilliant. Great to see the Tier 2 and Tier 3 nations do so bloody well. Excellent. England defying the odds to get the final. I'm happy with that. There is a lot of room for improvement in the English game. I've debated that to death on this channel. But to them get the final and to be competitive in the final and really push Australia to the full 80 minutes, brilliant. There are still issues there, but good. Australia showing why they're the world's best. It does get a bit boring, the same side wins over and over again, but again at the same time, good. Negatives now. That's all the positives out of the way. That took less than a minute. Negatives, and I have some concerns to raise. Wales and the USA. USA, obviously, we're developing the game in North America. That needs NRL involvement as well on my part, but we're developing the game. That is a reasonable positive at the fact they've got the 2 World Cups. They did better in the last one, but they got here by merit, by qualification. There's a long way to go with the American game, but it's a starting point. Canada as well. They've got the Toronto Wolfpack, so they sort of have a sort of share player talent pool, I suppose. But they're getting there. And I understand why they're getting there, because I have a lot of Americans watching this channel, especially when my Rugby League videos go up. So for you guys in America who watch my Rugby League videos, thank you very much. And I'm trying to address your concerns. One day America will have a more competitive side, and we'll see how the Toronto Wolfpack and the new side they are aiming to get into play in the next year or so does. I'll be watching that space. Downsides, big ones now. So I've done the good news stories, bad stuff. Refereeing. That semi-final, England Tonga will be remembered for the Chechen being an absolute shit referee. End. That decision should have gone upstairs. Whether it's a try or not is debatable, and I'm going to have Tonga fans ripping my head off saying we would have won that game. On the scoreboard, you didn't. I'm sorry, you have to now accept the defeat. The fact that you could have won that game and the referee let you down, that is a talking point. There is an appeal process being lodged. I can understand the Tongan anger. You have an 80-20% chance of getting it in your favour. The fact that if that's a league game, club game, that goes upstairs. If that's a group game, it goes upstairs. Final, it doesn't. That's what pisses me off. Semi-final, it doesn't. It pisses me off. There is hints of racism in there, and I don't like the R word being used in this context. It's just a shit referee making a shit decision. Simple. Another one. Empty seats at Brisbane tonight in the final. That's been a big issue throughout the Australian-based games. Papua New Guinea, New Zealand-based games, always sold out. Brilliant support. The opening match was about 20,000 at Melbourne Storm Stadium, and that was near capacity. There was a few empty seats. That's the first game of a tournament. You normally expect big showings for a tournament like this. It's a World Cup, but you want to build. They did take the game on the road to Perth and Darwin, so outside traditional markets for rugby league. That is good. I forgot to mention that. And the Darwin game was packed, which is good to see. Valentine Holmes getting his 11 tries in 2 games, brilliant. McGilvray playing well. Again, so there's success stories in teams, but I'm going to get to some more negatives. The choice of referee tonight should have been Henry Perenara. New Zealand, neutral ref for a big game like this should have been Henry Perenara. He's an ex-player of NRL and international level, so he's a first grader as a player. Not an outstanding player, but he's played first grade, and he's been refereeing for a long time. He's a well-respected ref. That irks me that an Australian was refereeing an Australian-England final. So it would have worked me if an Englishman was doing it. I hate favourable refereeing. It needs to be neutral. I hate it. Physically hate it when a team favours one team over another and it's seen on the pitch that, there were some decisions tonight early on where I thought, oh, it's an Aussie refereeing for Aussies. Ooh. And then he started favouring us a little bit. I thought, oh, be consistent with your calls then. Just be consistent. Stop this. So I was questioning some of the refereeing decisions tonight, and I've questioned a few refereeing decisions throughout this entire tournament. But here's the big thing. The gap between Super League and NRL, I've debated this, and there are issues with player depth and skill level and coaching. But the big talking point of this tournament, Wales, I understand they have funding issues and there is a depth issue. They have less Super League and NRL players to choose from. They've got to go with more Championship and lower grade players. I get that. And they did the best they could. They just got hammered in every game. They're just not quite at this level yet. They should do a test between USA, Scotland and Wales, maybe. The French team was a bit weaker than I expected, but they're going through a sort of rebuilding phase. I'm not angry with the French. They have still got that flair, and they were still putting the will in to run the ball from deep. So Their base game, their base skills are there. What gets me? The Scotland performances were absolutely piss poor. There's no doubt about that. They were shocking. And they're mostly Super League. A few NRL players sprinkled in there. Yes, Lachlan Coote was missing. You can't blame him missing on them being so bad. But when your captain, Danny Brough, and two other players, and I've done videos on this, so if you want to watch them, they are on in the Rugby League playlist. They're on there. When your captain and two other players of your leadership core are so pissed they can't get on a flight from New Zealand to Australia, yeah, no, you know you've got problems. So player discipline away from the game. When your sport ambassadors, not there. The effort, not there. They didn't look fit enough. They didn't look up for it. They didn't look where they were last year when they drew 16 all New Zealand in the Four Nations to now is disgraceful. There is no way the team has gone from we can compete with one of the 3 best teams in the world consistently and get a draw. Yes, admittedly it was in Workington Town, and admittedly the weather was absolutely biblically shocking. You play the conditions as well as the team in front of you. They adapted to the conditions just as well as New Zealand because it was a draw. But here's the thing. To play that badly, and the New Zealand side was not the New Zealand side they faced last autumn. It was actually a weaker New Zealand side as well. This New Zealand side, there is problems there, and I will get into how poor they were. And they had off-field issues before the tournament. The same as Zach Hardacre. I'm going to mention those off-field issues. But the way Scotland was so piss poor in this tournament, almost disgracefully so, you know, for a guy who wanted to see as many games as possible shown by the British broadcasters, I've got gripes about the broadcasting rights as well. But for Scotland to be so bad, I feel so sorry for all those Scotland fans who travelled all the way from the UK to the Southern Hemisphere to watch that. It is a lot of money to go watch international tournaments anyway. Look at the FIFA World Cup next year, how much it's going to cost fans. I look at how much it cost. Okay? To expect people to travel for 24 hours minimum just to get to the Australasia continent, and then to watch your team be so appallingly bad and put hardly any effort in on the pitch, and if they were putting effort in, it just wasn't there. To then find out that your national captain and one of your best players is blotto in an airport with 2 of his teammates, and they can't even board the plane to go to the next training camp to go to the next game. That is a disgrace. That is a piss poor advert for the sport. It reeks of a parallel with the England Rugby Union World Cup mess of 2011 when they were they were just dwarf tossing, for example. They were a disgrace and a poor advert for the game, and led to coaching changes and a culture change, which has taken a long time for Eddie Jones and Stuart Lancaster is part of the reason why England are as good as they are now, union-wise. They changed the culture. The same happened with the Australian Rugby Union side. There was a drink culture. So it's a bad advert for a game that you want to sell. It really is. And then you've got, so there's some negatives there. Positives though, it's been a great tournament. There is room for improvement. I want to see improvement from Rugby League worldwide. There is room for improvement. But all in all, good tournament. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.